It's your girl Kiki. Welcome to Conversations with Kiki. And today's video is going to be about the B Simone video that I recently saw. So I think I saw it the day before yesterday. And I watched it again just to get clarification on it. So the first time I watched it, I couldn't really get through it because B Simone's, that's her name, mannerisms. I hate when people talk like that. My little sister doesn't. It detracts me from what she's saying because it's like, that's what I look at it as. Then people, but I didn't know who she was. So then people were like, well, she does that because she's a comedian. And I felt like that message really needed a serious tone because it wasn't a comedic kind of message. Her message, though, itself was correct. I'll talk about me because I can't talk about other people. When I am married. I have been married for 11 years. We have been together for 13. And so, trust me, I've been through the ringer. I've been through some stuff. And so, listening to her message, though, it makes sense. So, I'll give you an example of like what she said. How can you want someone you want someone who's got money now, but you don't have any money? You have to think of the shit that's going to happen in the long run, which is, okay, he may be the breadwinner and you don't have any bread. Now all of a sudden enters in the ring where like people can be vindictive and be like, why would I do that for you? I'm the one with the money. You give too much power. Money has too much power over people already. So you're giving someone else more power over you. And I feel like when you're in a relationship, it definitely has to be a 50-50 equal kind of thing. Not just, oh, he takes care of me and I just sit home and don't do shit. Because that enters in a lot of problems. Hi, watch what's that damn movie? The one with Tyler Perry. Why Did I Get Married? That damn Sheila. She sat home, let her husband make all the money, and when he was trying to go, he motherfucking went and he took his money with him. And so I feel like it is okay. It's totally okay to have a list. Again, I'll talk for myself. I definitely had a list. Before I met my husband, I dated some characters. Do you hear me? Some characters with mama issues. I dated ones that didn't know how to keep they little pee-wees to themselves. They need to cheat and all this other stuff. And so when my husband rolled around, I definitely was older and had a child. So at that point, I needed a list because my whole thing was the next potential man that comes in my life is most likely gonna be a stepfather to my child and gonna be in my life forever. So I definitely had a list, and my list coincided with me. I had a job at that point in time. I had two jobs. I was taking care of my daughter. I lived by myself, and so I had two jobs. I barely was home. I was a lot thinner. This is comfortability weight. I've been with my man for a long time. He ain't fat, but he got a job where he's outside all the time. But I definitely got comfortability weight. And so, but I never looked at weight. That definitely was something because I don't know. I really don't care. Like I've dated a bigger man and that was fine with me. I've dated skinny men. My husband is I make fun of him and say he's giving Snoop Dogg a run for his money. My husband's very tall and slender. And so I've never really been where as a body type. I'm more personality in the shit you bringing with you. She says something about you want a family man. You need to heal shit with your family. It is right. When you have problems with people or things from a past, it is always going to affect your future. That's why I say as Black people, we really need to get up on our mental health because we keep shit bottled inside and it messes stuff up for you when you go later and you project those traumas onto someone who's just trying to love you. And so who wants to try to love someone when they can't even love themselves? And then on top of that, when you trying to love them, and it's always a fight, And so I could definitely relate to that part of what she was saying, which was, you gotta work on your traumas. I'm blessed where I speak to my mom. I have a stepfather. I do have my own father. My father lives in Florida, so I speak to him, and I didn't see him for a long time. I would like to say I don't have daddy issues, but I learned how to be very independent because I didn't have a male that I could be like, oh, my daughter this, my daughter that. Like, don't get me wrong, my stepfather definitely fit the bill, but I'm talking about like biologically, I didn't have my father here, and that was okay, but I would like to think that I didn't have daddy issues. I never heard people say I have, but those missing those key components in your life do sometimes tend to mess up future things. So I can definitely understand what she said about that. So listening to the message, when I have, like I said, when I first heard it, all the, moving around, but when I heard it again, she definitely is right. Like I said, I work 2 jobs. I definitely wanted someone who had their own job, because who wants to babysit someone? As a girl, as a black woman, I don't want to be, and a mother at that already. I don't want to be your mama. I don't want to be your mama. I want us to be 50-50. That is how my mother raised me to be in a relationship. My mother and my stepfather was always 50-50. If my mom, at one point in time, my mom used to work until 11 o'clock at night. So she worked 7-11. My stepfather came home and he made dinner for us. Like, he made sure we ate. The only thing my stepfather didn't do was change diapers. And that's because my stepfather is from the old school South and he don't believe in changing no girls' diapers. So I had to change my sister's diapers, but that is what it is. And he never changed my daughter's diapers, and that's it. That is what it is. So it's like, I was always raised that a relationship should be 50-50. I wanted that in a partner. Anybody should want that in a partner. You shouldn't want to be someone's mama, period. Like, they got their own mama. And even if they don't have their own mama, that's not what a relationship is. You don't be with someone or marry someone to become their mother. You become their partner. Do you mother your friends? No, you don't. You talk to them, you give them advice, but at the end of the day, you're still their friend. When it comes down to your significant other, you're not their mom, you're not their father, whatever the case may be. You are their partner in this life. You guys tackle challenges and everything together. So I definitely, like I said, I had a list. So I definitely wanted a job. I'm trying to remember. And I did want someone that didn't have like mama issues. Now I say that because, again, my previous relationship, mama issues up the butt. And it sucks because I come from where my mom is like, a big part of my life. So I went with someone who they didn't really get along with their mom, and so it showed up in all aspects of our relationship. He didn't know how to treat me because he never knew how to respect his own mother. You know what I'm saying? I've watched him call his mother a bitch and all kind of crazy stuff like that. And then I used to look at him and be like, yeah, so no wonder you don't treat me like the queen and I deserve to be treated, because you don't even treat your mother like a queen. And so that was definitely something that was on my own list, which was, you got to be family oriented, period, because I'm bringing you in my life and you're going to be in a family. I have a daughter. That's it. And my mother and my daughter are a package deal. Like, because I'm very close with my mom. Now, my mom's not a meddler or anything like that, but I hang out with her and I do things, and that's my mom. And that's all I have in this world. So it's like, these things are, if you can't, and the reason why I bring my mom is because, like, speaking of the next, was like, oh, you always with your mom? And I'm like, because she's my mom. And he's like, I don't spend time with my mom. And I'm like, ooh, well, you're going to be mad a lot because I love my mama. The next thing that was on my list was definitely, I wasn't looking for someone who was rich. No, money's not, like, money's an object, but it's not the biggest thing on my list. I just wanted someone who knew how to take care of themselves. Because if you know how to take care of yourself, then you won't expect other people to take care of you. Like I said, I don't want to be someone's mother. I also wanted someone who wasn't selfish. And I think everybody on this earth doesn't want that, a selfish person. The reason why you don't want someone selfish is because, let's say, knock on wood, I lose my job tomorrow. If I'm with someone who really only care about themselves, they're going to be like, peace, I'm out because you don't have a job. We can't do this 50-50. No, you want someone who understands the value of a partnership, and that's going to be like, all right, you down? I'm going to help you. We're going to get you back up together. Even if it takes you some time, I'm here for you. You want somebody like that, or I'm sorry, I want someone like that. And that's definitely something that was on my list. Again, a lot of my list came from things that happened to me in the past. Now, my list, though, I matched my list. I've always had a job. My mother prides herself on that, telling people the second I turned 15, I had a job. I've had a job ever since. I stopped working when my son was born. And the only reason why was because my husband was like, do you want to spend, I had my daughter very young, and so I worked. I had 2 jobs. She was at everybody else's house but mine because I worked and I worked and I worked. And then I was starting to go back to school. So when I had my son, I wanted to slow down. And I remember making the statement, like, I wish I could be a stay-at-home mom for a couple of months just to get the chance to see him in his milestones that I never saw with my daughter. I never saw my daughter take her first steps. My mom took the pictures, and Nora knows where those are at. I never saw my daughter say her first words because she was in daycare. So she said it at daycare. And so I wanted to experience those things firsthand. And so my husband was like, oh, I'll work, and I'm looking at him like, and then that was the only time I didn't work. And then that got boring because I was cultured myself into, you gotta work, you gotta work, you gotta work. So that was boring as shit. Like, I was like, as soon as my son was like a couple years old, like a couple months old, I was like, yeah, he gotta go to daycare. Like, I was like, I want to go back to work. And I went back to work. And so it was fun, like, I got to see the milestones that I didn't get to see with my daughter, but I did miss work and I did miss being in the work field. But it was nice to have a partner that understood that. And he was like, no, I'll pick up the slack while you stay home a couple of months with him. He was expecting me to be home for a year. We didn't even make it to a year. I was like, no. So it's easier to be with someone. Her message to me, how I interpret it, it's easier to be with someone if you both are on the same wavelength. If I wanted a skinny man, yeah, I should be kind of skinny too, because maybe that's what he wants. You know what I'm saying? But there are some men that love, the BBWs, and that's cool too. But you can't be out here like thunder checking niggas like, nah, I'm not gonna fuck with you because you ain't this, that, and the third. And yet you still live with your nana and you don't have no income either. Like, you need to bring things to the table is what I interpreted to it. If you want things brought to your table, you both need to bring shit to the table. You both need to bring your best foot forward, not just be like, I'm gonna be a burden to somebody. Because that's what I take it as. If I hear anybody tell me I want a man with money but you ain't got no job, you're a fucking burden, right? You're a burden. It is what it is. You're a goddamn burden. And I listened to the message and I'm like, there's people out there like this. And my friend was like, girl. I was like, gosh. But I'm thinking that shit's only in the movies. Like, what the hell? And so her message was really good. I think it was off-putting the way she came about it. But once I watched footage of her from other things and then my daughter kind of enlightened me on who she was, I said, okay, I understand now why she was acting like that. But her message was actually really good and it made a lot of sense. Her delivery just threw me off because I felt like it should have been more serious, because this isn't a comedic topic. We do have these young women out here just being like, I want this and I want this and I want this and I want this, but they're not doing shit. And it's just like, I get it, you want to be a kept woman, but you got to have shit for you on the side. You got to make your own money, because these people ain't going to be out here trying to raise you, and people like to hold that shit over your head. And then my watch is going off. I don't know what it's doing. And then you do have to make sure that, your past traumas are well taken care of, or at least you're on the path to it. Because let me tell you, from someone who personally dealt with someone else's trauma, it is not fun. I dealt with someone who had a very traumatic childhood and they never dealt with it. They just were like, oh, well, we're cool. And it played its head in my relationship for a really long time, and to the point that it almost started to seep into me, like, should I like be like that way? Is this how things really are? And it's like, no, that's not how life is. That's not how everybody's parents are. That's not how every family is. And so at the end of the day, it is okay to have a list. It's definitely okay to have a list. It is okay to have your preference of man, woman, whomever you want to date. But I definitely agree that if you want those things, you got to manifest that shit too. Like, you get what I'm saying? You want someone who's got money, then you need to bring money to the table as well to show that you're financially stable, because nobody really wants to take care of anybody else. It's a partnership that most people are looking for. And if you want someone who's sitting up there and gonna be a family man, it starts at home. There's a saying, anybody who's my age will know. You know how a man gonna treat you by how he treats his mama. Tell me I'm fucking lying. And if you don't think I'm lying, I am perfect proof of I dated someone who hated their mother. And when it came to me and every relationship that he subsequently had, he was very shitty at it because he didn't know how to love a woman because he was never shown it by his mother and he never showed it to his mother. So it just was a snowball effect. And at the end of the day, it's just like, just listen to her message again. Try to block out all of this. You know, I feel like she's like, you ever see the bunnies on, it's Tony Baker's channel and he be fighting? It's like that. That's what it reminds me of. But listen to her message. Listen to it again. Even if you gotta like cover the camera, listen to it. It just, she's right. It is what it is. And you should make you a list. And look at that list and be like, you know, what do I bring to the table too? Because nobody's going to be out here writing a list saying, I want a girl who's unemployed and I want a girl who she don't even fuck with her family. So, but I come from a big family, so she going to have to deal with my big family. Because let me tell you now, if you date you a Latino man like mine, they got a big ass family. And so it's like, if I had like a traumatic childhood, it would have been really hard for me to deal with my husband's family because they're very hands-on. I mean, hands. I've went to the Dominican Republic with him. It was cousins coming out of the sky. And I was overwhelmed because my whole life, it's always really been me and my mom, my grandma, and my aunts, plural. One aunt I don't see as much and one aunt is dead. And so it's like, you know, I wasn't used to being around a big family and it took a lot to get used to. And I still am trying to get used to it because they're very loving and they're very supportive. And so, you know, when you think of these things, it's just like, if you know, want a man to come into your life and do these things, look, you're going to look at his background, right? The mama thing comes into play. So what about you? If you hate your mama or you got daddy issues, how are you going to create a happy family with someone else when you still have your own issues? And I implore Black people, take care of your mental health. Trust me. People could call me crazy all day. I've definitely utilized Talkspace. I have definitely utilized like talking to a therapist because I've had my own traumas, not in terms of my family, but you know, more as in like relationships. And I didn't want it to mess up the wonderful marriage that I have now, because I know I could be a challenge. Well, not now, but when we first like got married, I know I could be a challenge because I was harboring on to things that my ex had done. And I felt like, you know, I got to be super protective of my heart because I let someone in and had a child with them. And then look how that turned out. And having a child with someone it's a lot. And that's a commitment for until they're 18 and forever, pretty much, because you guys always got to be around each other because of this child. And so I always say, like, you know, pay attention to those things in the beginning because that's going to set the pace for your relationship. And so I'm going to, if I can't link the video after, I'm definitely going to link a link below for the YouTube video because it's a good watch. Just, I don't really know her, so I know other people were complaining that like she's a fraud. I think it was something like that, but I was like, oh, whatever. I'm not even gonna go look for the video or whatever y'all talking about that she's a fraud. But her message made sense. So if you don't do anything else today, watch, you know, the video, learn from it, and speak on it. And if you disagree with it, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Tell me why. Tell me why. Tell me why. I would love to hear it. So I am out. It was amazing speaking with you guys. I am going to put up a video for Roblox, so whichever one comes first. I want to say thank you guys for all my subscribers, and check out our Instagram, my Instagram page, and have a good day. Peace, guys.
Love challenge, because y'all already know we manifest in love all 2021. So we're the animals out here.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
We're manifesting love. But here's the little challenge. We got all these things we want in a man. A list of things. He got to be tall. He got to be dark. He got to be handsome. He got to have pretty teeth. He got a family man. He got to be financially stable. He got to be rich. He got to be successful. He got to be all these things. And we ain't even have some things on that list. He got to be a family man. You may talk to your mama in 6 months, but you want him to be a family man. He got to be financially stable. Your account is in the negative, ma'am. Overdraft fees. He got to have a job. You need to go fill out some applications because you're still unemployed. He got to have pretty teeth. You ain't seen a dentist in 6 years. He got to have a six-pack and be in shape. You can't even walk up a flight of stairs without huffing and puffing. Get your life together. This whole list that he got to be. You ain't even half the things on that list. So this is what I challenge you to do. So we can manifest love all 2021. Make that list of that perfect dream man that you got in your mind. Then, what I did, make a list of the type of woman he would need right by his side. You want him to be in shape? You need to get to the gym. Equally yoked. You want him to be financially stable? Well, you need to start saving. Because you can't keep a dime to your name. Huh? You want him to be a family man? Call your mama. You become a family woman. Heal your traumas before you put all this on him. You want him to be patient. Your patience is thin. You want him to be understanding. You're the least understanding person in your circle of friends. But he got to be understanding. Fix you. Fix you. Whatever you want, become that. He got to be in shape. We eat chips every day.